Hello, friend, and welcome to the 10-Minute Mind Shift Podcast. I'm your host, Janet Cagle, certified life coach, business strategist, and lover of all things related to up-leveling my life and yours. My goal is to help you experience a mind shift that gets you one step closer to your goals, whatever they are. My goal is not to keep you wrapped up in self-help all day, just 10 minutes. And who doesn't have 10 minutes, right? Where is the universe trying to take you that your ego is resisting? I read that quote the other day and then I thought that would make a great podcast. And here we are, people. This is episode number 35. I started this at the end of April, and in a minute we are here at episode 35 and the 3 R's to attracting abundance today. If you love these little bite-sized knowledge nuggets, let me know. I would love to hear from you. All right, let's dive in. I see this with so many people, and I've experienced it myself. With our knowledge and our intellect, we know better. We know that if we would just do X, Y, Z and 1, 2, 3, that we would move the needle in our lives one step closer to our goal. If we moved our body a little more, cut back on sugar, drank more water, got to work 30 minutes earlier, got to work on time, ever. It's the very thing that we know would move the needle in our lives if we just did it, and yet we resist. Maybe it's meal planning and meal prepping to lose the weight. Maybe it's deciding ahead of time what to order instead of leaving it up to the primal part of the brain to order the pasta bowl. Maybe it's planning your work and then working your plan. You know if you did it, it would be a game changer. You know it, and yet you resist it instead. Maybe it's getting real with your career goals or business decisions and deciding to go all in for all of it, the hard, the easy, the fun, all of it. We know that if we went all in, it would be a game changer, but instead, we hold back, we play safe, we justify, and make excuses. We resist instead. Think about that thing that you want to create, invite, attract, achieve into your life. What is it? And now think about all of the things that you are resistant to in order to achieve it. What is it about the journey that you are resisting? If you are trying to get across the finish line without running the race, you are resisting the journey. Is it the fear of failure or the fear of success? Is it the fear of rejection or the fear of acceptance? Because think about it. When you are not a victim of what you fear, then what? As humans, we are designed to pursue our highest and best self always, at every level, every socioeconomic level, and every generational level, at every age. We try to be our highest and best self at 60, just like when we were 50, and just like when we were 30. It's innate in all of us. Here's the deal. We are designed for the pursuit of our highest and best self, and we do it with the same brain that is creating the resistance to the very thing that we know would get us closer to our result. It's the same brain, but it's a different part of the brain that the resistance bubbles up from. It's the primal, lizard, ego, subconscious part of the brain. It's so stealth, we may not even know we're doing it to ourselves, but here we are. We do it in ways that feel so part of the way we are that we don't even recognize it. Here's an example from me. I know that drinking water is something that would help me up-level my health and wellness, and yet I'm resistant. From my prefrontal cortex, I get it, and from there I decide to drink more water and get more sleep, and yet the ego says, you don't even like water. You can't help it after all. It's just the way you are. You just don't like it. It's not enjoyable to you. It probably doesn't really make that big of a difference anyway. I know that if I would commit to playing the piano every day for at least 5 minutes, that I would greatly improve my skill set, and yet I resist. My brain says, who cares and what does it matter and why do you care anyway? These little resistance cavities create barriers to the abundant life that the universe is showing us and trying to lead us to. Resistance shows up as a thought first and then a feeling, and then the action or the inaction creates our results, or in most cases, the lack of it. So, ask yourself this week, what do you want to create, invite, attract, or accomplish? And then watch for the resistant bubbles to bubble up. Be very onto your clever brain in the way resistance is presented. It may show up like this, I don't know, or I can't. It might show up in thoughts like, I'm just not a person who, or I've never been able to. It could show up in scarcity thoughts like, I don't have enough time, or I'm broke, or I'm just too busy. I started using a couple of terms this week with my students to help them really see what these thoughts really are. One of them is the acronym BUGS. biases, underexamined, and greatly stylized. These thoughts always have a bias to the negative persuasion. We never examine them. We assume that they are true, and then we greatly exaggerate the effect of the thought by conjuring up the evidence that such thoughts are true. This week, while revisiting the book Maximum Achievement, Brian Tracy talked about an author who told the story to his children that the secret to everything is buried in their backyard. And if they just don't think about white rabbits, they will find what they are looking for. So, of course, the children run out to the backyard and they start looking for the secret to happiness and everything, but all they can think about is white rabbits. We do that too. We have this future we want to create, and then we steep ourselves in thoughts that don't serve us. Bugs and white rabbits. We go to our past and we bring all of those old thoughts and we smear them all over our new goals so that we don't even see the goal anymore. We only see all the reasons why we have failed. Listen, nothing has gone wrong. You are not broken. In fact, the brain does this to keep you seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, and conserving energy. That's it. That's all that's going on. It's not how you were raised. It's not about your past or your present circumstances. It's about none of that. It's because you are human and you have a brain. It might be helpful just knowing that, but here are 3 things that you can do when you feel resistance bubbling up again. We are in prime goal setting season. And by the way, you should totally join my free goal setting workshop. It's free. Go to the show notes for the link. I teach goal setting in a way that you have never experienced before. All right, 3 things. Number 1, recognize what you are resisting. Call it out for what it is, resistance. Then release it. Number 2, just let it go. Be willing to step into being vulnerable with yourself and sit with your resistance. Be willing not to be victim to your own fear. You can feel fear without being victim to it. You can still take action from fear and not be victim to it. Number 3, replace it. Choose the emotion that most fuels you towards your goal. What's that high-octane emotion that will drive you to your results that you most want to create? My go-to and most productive emotion is always joy. Really access and channel that emotion intentionally and see if it moves the needle for you. So I'm going to release the resistance to drinking water and stop telling myself I don't like it and look for things that I do like about it. I know this sounds so juvenile, but if you know me, you know how little water I drink, and it's just flat out weird, all the quirks that I have about water. It's silly mostly, but it's unhealthy, and health is a very important value, but not drinking water does not honor that value. In the absence of resistance, you become a super attractor. I love that from Gabby Bernstein. You are going to hear me say that a lot. In the absence of resistance, you'll become a magnet for what you most desire. You'll feel the energy of the universe supporting you in every aspect of your life. Find your resistance, release it, replace it, and become a super attractor. That's what I have for you, my friends, and now I hope that you have the best week ever. That's a wrap of the 10-Minute Mind Shift podcast. I hope that you were able to experience your own mind shift today. Listen, if you're ready to take this work to the next level, I highly recommend Life by Design Academy. It's my one-on-one coaching program that offers you a transformation at the speed of life.